Thank you very much, Elina. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be with you this morning. As you know, a society cannot work without the communications network infrastructure. So during the global pandemic, we saw the importance of communications networks become even more pronounced. Effective connections have made it possible to work and study from home, as well as to communicate with loved ones. With the pandemic, for instance, large-scale teleworking appears to be here to stay, and the need for high-speed and high-capacity communications networks is evident worldwide. Finland is known as a leader in mobile technologies, and in many ways we've been also a pioneer in 5G technology. The position of 5G leader was the common goal of the ministry, the agency, and the telecommunications industry as a whole. This objective has been successfully achieved, demonstrated by the fact that 5G is already available in nearly 70% of Finnish municipalities, and that a fast 5G network delivering peak rates of 100 megabits per second already covers 84% of the households. So the 5G network has been expanded more and more, even in sparsely populated areas. So the role of the ministry in this development is first and foremost to be an enabler. A progressive spectrum policy is a critical prerequisite for wireless innovation and services. We've endeavored to ensure that sufficient mobile network fuel, that is, frequencies, are available for the construction of networks at a sufficiently early stage and under appropriate conditions. Finland's allocated more frequencies per capita to mobile networks than any other country in Europe. We've also rapidly deployed spectrum bands so that companies can build networks that are capable of applying the latest technology. Network licenses have been granted without fiscal objectives, which has contributed to a high level of investment by telecom operators. In addition to this, licenses are generally granted in a technology-neutral manner, which allows for flexible upgrading of networks to the latest technology. I would dare to say this is a virtuous circle. So Finland was the first country in the EU to introduce not only 5G bands, but all so-called 5G pioneer bands in their entirety. For example, we've sought to ensure that industrial enterprises can apply the services that 5G enables in a way that promotes competitiveness and innovation. That is why we reserve 5G frequencies for the construction of local 5G networks in addition to national networks. In some situations, local networks can better meet the needs of individual businesses. It is very important for European competitiveness that 5G networks are built in the whole of Europe. 5G offers a wide range of growth opportunities that, if realized, would also improve many of the services citizens receive. Many important initiatives have been taken in the EU level to promote the construction of communications networks. A few examples of such initiatives include the time limits set by the EU for the allocation of the EU's pioneer bands and the connectivity toolbox, which aims to promote the construction of both broadband and 5G networks. As we know, 5G technology is not just about faster wireless connections. It also allows for more immediate connections and greater data transfer capacity, leading to completely new kinds of services and businesses in all sectors of society. For industry, 5G means more efficient processes, automation, and new manufacturing methods. 5G can facilitate the use of various remote and real-time services in healthcare, and in transport, the new technology enables more user-centered and streamlined travel and logistic chains based on real-time information, as well as automation, to name but a few examples. Increasing digitalization and dependence on technology also increase risks. It's important that both Europe and Finland have continued to work to identify and manage the risks associated with communications networks. Cybersecurity must be taken into account already in the planning phase. So I'm talking about security by design thinking, not only as an afterthought. For the security of 5G networks, it's important for the EU to have a common approach. The toolbox on 5G security adopted in the EU offers member states concrete ways to improve the cybersecurity of 5G networks. Needless to say, this was a priority during the Finnish EU presidency in 2019, and we were very happy to advocate the common approach in the EU 5G security toolbox. Finland is committed to implementing the EU's shared measures. Finland has prepared additional legal provisions following the recommendations of the EU 5G toolbox. These will further strengthen the regulatory framework for the security of communications networks, in particular from the point of view of national security and defense. The starting point for national legislation is that critical parts of the communications network must not use equipment that could endanger national security or defense. If such equipment is detected, the Finnish Transport and Communications Agency, as the competent authority, may decide to remove the communications network equipment from the network. But it's also important, vital for us to have an ongoing dialogue and prepare matters in close cooperation with the private sector. In this respect, the recently established Advisory Board for Network Security is of key importance when key actors, such as FICOM, are involved in the discussion. A topical debate on the development of the Open RAN concept and market is currently underway. This spring, a report on the cybersecurity of Open RAN was prepared by the EU. Cybersecurity must be more strongly involved in the preparation of the concept and its technical specifications. Europeans must ensure their own 5G capabilities and stand up for themselves in global markets. At the same time as 5G networks are being built in Finland at a tremendous rate, our eyes have already turned to the next generation of telecommunications networks. Finland is also being profiled as a leading country in the development and research of 6G technology, and there is widespread interest in Finland's ideas and views on 6G. For example, Oulu is home of 6G flagship, the world's first 6G research and development ecosystem, which collaborates extensively internationally in exploring the technical solutions and future societal benefits of 6G. Although Finland cannot compete with large countries in terms of the size of research budgets, we take advantage of our expertise, head start, agility, and above all, our ability to cooperate. The most important Finnish research and development actors in the field of communications recently, in May, established 6G Finland, a coalition to promote Finland's 6G competitiveness. The aim of 6G Finland is to increase internal cooperation and advance the impact of Finnish 6G expertise globally. 6G technology is at the research stage, and its development first requires a common agreement on the preconditions, basic solutions, and standards. So international cooperation is very important in this, and many important international meetings and conferences on the topic are coming up. For example, the World Radio Communications Conference, WRC, is harmonizing the use of radio frequency spectrum globally. Although 6G issues are not on the agenda of the 23 conference, it will draw up the agenda for 27, by which time 6G will already be very topical, especially bearing in mind that international coordination of the spectrum will take years. The International Telecommunications Union, ITU on the other hand, agrees on a global 6G vision, that is the basic principles of 6G. I consider it important that the 6G vision should be in line with Western values and also with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. For example, 5G cannot yet meet the goal for global network coverage, but 6G should make it possible. This requires that the energy consumption of the networks can also be significantly reduced, even if the number of network equipment increases. The subject has also arisen in our national discourse. So last year, Finland prepared an internationally groundbreaking climate and environmental strategy for the ICT sector. To my knowledge, still the very first and only climate strategy for ICT, which aims to promote the reduction of the carbon and environmental footprint of the ICT sector and utilize the handprint, the benefits of digitalization. This environmental report of the ICT sector has aroused a lot of international interest, so it is freely available in our website. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, thus far I've highlighted the strengths of the Finnish approach. To sum up, the deciding factors to success have included competitive markets, a successful and active spectrum policy, and above all, good cooperation and dialogue between the industry and the public authorities. Cooperation has made it possible to make effective use of the limited resources of a small country like Finland. In addition to this, there's of course also a need for effective international and EU-level cooperation. We need smart regulation on all levels. Thank you for your attention.